Okay, I think we can get started. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of the participants joining us today. And a big warm welcome to all of you to our workshop on healthy lifestyle for all, which is the 8th workshop in our TAFISA Mission 2030 workshop series. So today we will have a few speakers and presentations who will show insights on how we can really work together on promoting a healthy lifestyle. And this workshop will be moderated by me. My name is Gaëtan Garcia. I'm the Communications, Marketing, and Public Relations Manager for TAFISA. Before we go any further, I would like to advise you that this workshop is recorded. So please turn off your camera if you do not wish to appear on screen. All your microphones have been muted by default to ensure a smooth running of the workshop. And if you wish to intervene with a comment or question, I encourage you to write in the question and answer chat or in the chat throughout the session. The speakers will respond during the open floor. Finally, can everyone please update their Zoom name to their first name, surname, and organization so that we know who is present today. Enough with housekeeping, it's time to officially kick off the workshop. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce TAFISA Vice President, Mr. Karakasis from Greece, who will give a few words of welcome on behalf of the TAFISA Board of Directors. Denis, the floor is yours. You are muted at the moment.
Good morning to all. On behalf of the TAFISA Board of Directors, it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all today to the Mission 2030 workshop. I understand I'm heard well. You can hear me well? On the healthy lifestyle for all. The 8th workshop in our TAFISA Mission 2020 workshop series. Today, we are still facing a global physical inactivity crisis. However, there are many barriers for everyone. We cannot fix this alone. If we want to solve these issues, we will need knowledge, experience, and know-how from other actors, stakeholders, and sectors to develop strategies promoting and enabling a healthy lifestyles. The Healthy Lifestyle for All initiative launched by the European Commission provides a good example of how we can involve different actors to work together. On the 16th of June this year, during the Sport Forum in Lille, France, I was invited to join the EU by the EU Commissioner Maria Gabriel on stage and sign the Healthy Lifestyle for All pledge on behalf of TAFISA. Our pledge states that TAFISA will focus on advancing policy making for healthy lifestyles guided by our Mission 2030. It is as follows: for a better world through sport for all. It is a laconic statement. The aim of this initiative is to raise awareness and promote the benefits of sport for all, build strong partnerships, and engage people of all walks of life to become physically active. Partnerships are indeed, and I believe that our diverse roster of speakers today will highlight how, coming from different backgrounds and organizations and continents, we can learn from and complement each other to achieve our goals. I wish you all an inspiring and a thought-provoking workshop. Thank you. I'd just like to say a few words about the speakers, some of whom I have met in the past. I have met Professor Uwe, UNESCO Chair on Physical Activity, and I know UNESCO is doing its best, hello, promoting physical activity. This is part one, and on the part two, on the round table, I would like to welcome Maria Fernandez Esteban. I think we have met in the past and we had great discussions, and I look forward to one today. Stanley Motoya, of course, the Chief Executive from the African Union. Mansoor AlSughayer, I have met him as well in Athens. and Claudia Campos from Brazil, whom I have met again in the past. So I welcome you all. Please, Gaëtan, guide the discussion from here on.
Thank you very much, Dennis, for this very nice warm word of welcome. And now I would like to introduce to everyone our first impulse for today. So this is Prof. Dr. Uwe Pühse, who is the UNESCO Chair on Physical Activity and Health in Educational Settings. Prof. Dr. Pühse is a professor of sports science at the University of Basel in Switzerland and the director of the Department of Sport, Exercise and Health. He also heads the sports science section, which has 4 focal points in teaching and research: promotion of physical activity in children and young people, school sports research with a focus on quality physical education and basic motor competencies, impact of physical activity on cognition, and sport for development with a focus on healthy schools for healthy communities. He holds the UNESCO Chair on Physical Activity and Health in Educational Settings and is a fellow of ASF and the National Academy of Kinesiology. Please, Prof. Pühse, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gaëtan. Thank you for your kind introductions. Greeting to all of you. I think we have nearly 70 participants. That's really great. Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Karakasis. And thanks to all the organizers. From my side, special thanks and greetings also to Wolfgang Baumann, the new president of TAFISA. I have learned that this is the last day of his appointment as Secretary General, and he will move to president now. I must say I am always impressed by the quality of work which TAFISA delivers. Really congrats on that. And congrats on you, Wolfgang. You made a major contribution to that. Good luck for your presidency. So this is my task today to speak about the work of the UNESCO Chair on Physical Activity and Health in Educational Settings, as you can see here on my slide. This title was awarded to us in 2019, and I have 20 minutes to present our work. And yeah, I have to select on what to focus. It is research-based, but today I don't focus so much on research. I try to give you a feeling and an understanding what this UNESCO Chair is doing. And I contribute to this word for all, because when we speak about kids, we sometimes, in my point of view, don't have all kids in mind. That is to say, when we look at kids 4 to 12 years old, in Europe, we have 140 million kids, according to Statista. And I was on a conference last week in Finland, and we spoke about sport for all, but the discussion only focused on the kids in Europe. So, but how many are in Africa? Just only in Africa, we have 400 million. And when we look at kids in poverty, 663 even. And when we look at kids who live with less than $1.9 per day, yeah, the number is really high. So when we speak about physical education, physical activity for all, we should keep in mind that the world is much bigger than we sometimes have in mind. So this is the work the UNESCO Chair is focusing on. As you can see, we have a web page. That's what I wanted to mention. You will find all the information on this web page, UNESCO Chair. So if you have any questions and so on, if you want to look for literature, if you want to see videos, you will find it there. This UNESCO Chair is collaborating with South Africa, Tanzania, Ivory Coast, Mauritius, Namibia, and Ghana, meanwhile. And the work is especially focusing on 2 SDGs. One is SDG 3, good health and well-being, and the second is quality education. So this is our key work. We focus also on other SDGs, but this is our main target group. And as you can see here, we are especially working in Africa, For example, in Tanzania with the Ifakara Health Institute, in Côte d'Ivoire with the Centre Suisse de Recherche Scientifique in Abidjan, but especially is our work linked to Nelson Mandela University in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. This is the university there. And we are collaborating, especially with the group of Cheryl Water. She is the PI in South Africa. I'm the PI in Switzerland. Cheryl is the co-chair. I'm the chairholder. So in Africa, our work started more than 10 years ago. And the Nelson Mandela University is located in Port Elizabeth. Now it is called Gqeberha. But we don't work in the nice and wealthy areas. We work in the backfield, that is to say, especially in townships and in schools. We can call it neglected settings. Just a short view on this map here with wealth inequality, because in the world we have countries, we call it with the haves and the have-nots. And look at the ranking and at the first place. And South Africa is the country with the most discrepancies and differences between those who have, who are wealthy, who are rich, and those who have not, who are poor, who are sometimes extremely poor. And we are focusing on this group. And this is our target when we speak of sport for all. We look at these kids. And this is a private South African primary school. What do you see? A group of 8 pupils, a teacher, well-dressed, a swimming pool. And now look at the public South African primary school. What do you see? No infrastructure, rubbish. Kids in one class, 60, even more. My colleague Marcus Gerber, who does research in Côte d'Ivoire and so on, he met school classes with 120 kids in one school class. So sport for all, for them, is a challenge, especially as the physical education teacher is not educated for giving physical education lessons. So this is a huge challenge, and we try to tackle that. We are working in this setting here. This is really, these are shacks, and in these shacks, there is a lack of clean water, electricity, unemployment, violence, gangsterism. And the kids here, this is the picture taken from the schoolyard. Behind the schoolyard is a fence, and right after the fence, the so-called shacks are beginning. And when we speak of kids and sport for all, we also have to keep in mind that we mean these kids. So when we started our project, we started it with a research project. It was the so-called DASH study, Disease, Activity, and School Children's Health. This alone would be a big speech, a long speech, in order to tell you what we did. The most important idea and intention for us is that our project should be evidence-based. So we published, we made research, we collaborated with the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute. So very well elaborated researches. And for example, this is just a little insight. We looked also at the worm infections of kids living in these neglected settings. And you can see here in 2 of these schools, the worm infections of the kids with different worms is more than 60%. So they are really affected by worms which comes from unhygienic situations. You have seen the kids on pictures, but you can see the settings here. This is the setting. You can see a kid trying to get water on the schoolyard. You can imagine that this water is not clean. You can see there is someone selling sweets for the kids in the morning. This is the breakfast for many kids on the left side. Sweets and chips. You will hear about that later on. This is the setting, and it is not dramatized. That is true. This is the schoolyard. I took a picture of that when we had the dash study. So this could be the place for physical activity, but it is not used for that. So this is an impression from the schoolyard. Nothing there to be physically active, but the kids want to be physically active, but there is nothing. So this is a challenge. As you, for example, saw on the right side, there was the so-called House of Hope, where kids who don't know what to do and who are very in a bad mood can go there and find shelter. So safety is another issue. This is a picture I took from a school. We learn better when we are safe, but the kids are not safe. So this is in Helen Vale, Stop the Shooting. Why shooting? Because the only way, because of this high number of unemployed people, the only way to get money is either to sell drugs or to steal things from tourists or whatever in the cities and so on. Yeah, this is the situation, and this is the basis for our intervention, the dash intervention. The intervention had 4 modules. One module, and this is our specialty, is physical education and fitness. But we also had to look at medication and deworming. That's why we included the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute. On the other hand, health and hygiene education is essential. And finally, also nutritional intervention. I will give you some examples. But the main question for us was, how can we fulfill the global action plan on physical activity? We wanted to make the kids physically active, give them some kind of fun and well-being by offering them physical activity. Some core documents were very helpful. First of all, WHO guidelines on physical activity and sedentary behavior. I will stick to that later on. Also, OECD has a concept which is called the future of education and skills. I am a consultant there, and meanwhile also OECD looks at the importance of physical education in schools. They don't focus on that in the last years, but it is changing. And of course, UNESCO, who is a strong partner for our ideas with quality physical education, but also other publications which will be issued in due time. Just the WHO guidelines you can see on the right side. Kids should, aged 5 to 7 years, should at least be 60 minutes per day physically active, moderate to vigorous, and so on. So we can build on these recommendations of WHO and try to put them into action. And this change is best initiated at school, as we think. Schools are the most relevant channel where all children, especially those from low socioeconomic status families, have access to a diverse range of physical activities. So this was our challenge, and we tried to put that in action. In order, and as I only have 20 minutes, I will show you a 3-minute video which gives an overview over our project in a nutshell.
When schools are filled with healthy teachers and learners, children have a better chance at reaching their full potential. But in disadvantaged and marginalized communities, this is not always the case. Kazi Bantu is working to change this by giving teachers and learners the tools to live healthier lives. Healthy schools means healthy communities. This Swiss South African initiative is improving the health and well-being of teachers and learners at low-resource schools in several African countries. Guided by UNESCO's Physical Activity and Health in Education Settings Chair, Kazi Bantu is rolling out 2 key projects, Kazi Kids and Kazi Health. Kazi Kids is a holistic educational toolkit which teachers can use to promote healthy behaviors. Linked to the South African CAPS curriculum, the Kazi Kids lessons can be used in life orientation classes from grade 1 to 7. Kazi Kids uses games, activities, and music to guide children through the content, covering 3 key pillars. 1. Physical education. 2. Moving to music. 3. Health, hygiene, and education. All the Kazi Kids lessons and songs are freely available online, along with summarized cue cards, which can be used when teaching outdoors. The 4 Kazi Kids cartoons also bring the pillars to life in a fun and interactive way, using singing and games. All the Kazi Kids teaching material is available in English, Swahili, and French, and has been disseminated in Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Tanzania. Kazi Health offers a 5-step program where health practitioners work with teachers to achieve their personal health goals. It includes individual risk assessments to determine teachers' current health status, using the online Kazi Chat assessment tool. A personal health risk profile is generated using a simple traffic light model. Lifestyle coaching sessions with the biokineticist, dietitian, and psychologist, providing information on physical activity, diet and nutrition guidance, stress and sleep management. Self-monitoring, motivation and goal setting, where teachers can use the innovative Kazi Health mobile app, and evaluation of goals achieved through the individual health risk assessment. In their own time, teachers can also complete a continued professional development CPD accredited online health and wellness course, which looks at getting a health check. 2. Understanding their health profile. 3. Understanding how lifestyle changes can improve your health. 4. How to change these behaviors. 5. Goal setting with SMART goals. 6. Taking action and tracking progress. And 7. Identifying barriers and coping mechanisms. Complementing the Kazi Bantu program, Kazi Play aims to assess schools' needs around hygiene and playground infrastructure. When teachers and learners live healthier lives, they can build stronger communities and better futures.
Yeah, so far the project in a nutshell, as you can see, it is a quite big project, and so we need a lot of people involved there. And we have a lot of students, master students, PhD students, and others who support the project. And this is our organigram, which we meanwhile developed. So my final phase of my talk will focus a little bit on Kazi Play as one part of this bigger project. You have seen Kazi Kids on the right side, Kazi Health, more for teachers, research-based promotion material was developed and so on. But Kazi Play is the newest branch of that. What does it mean? As you have seen, we focus on physical education, moving to music. Why moving to music? Because the teachers are not educated. And when you have 60 or even kids in the class, they just play special kind of music, and it's some kind of aerobic lessons where kids move on the schoolyard while the music, especially composed music from African artists, are playing. It's a very physically intensive lesson, and the kids have amazing fun there. Everything was not developed that we from Switzerland came and told the South African colleagues, you have to do it this and this way. It was developed in a very collaborative way. So there was no hierarchy at all. We tried to avoid that. And there was really an intensive input from South Africa. Just to show you physical education, there are a lot of easy to implement lessons. We call them pen ready. We have also cue cards, which the teachers can bring to the schoolyard in order to support their lessons, moving to music and health, hygiene, nutrition. These were also materials we developed, for example, for the food preparers, washing hands, preparing a healthy meal. You see the food preparers, because the kids get a meal in the school from Monday to Friday. And sometimes we ask kids on Monday, when did you eat for the last time? They said on Friday in school. That is to say, the school meal is very important, but it should be healthy. So these are the kids getting their school meal. We also looked at the toilets. They're sometimes in a horrible state. You can't smell when you are on these toilets, and we renovated them. We'll show you later. So on the right side, there's Kazi Play. And my final comments will focus on Kazi Play. As I said, the new branch. This is a short final video, what Kazi Play is doing.
My name is Uwe Pühse. I am the Swiss PI of the Kazi-Bantu project. Kazi-Bantu aims at improving the health and well-being of kids and teachers of schools in underprivileged settings. These schools hardly offer any possibilities for kids to be physically active, especially on the schoolyard.
From a research perspective, empirical evidence clearly shows that having an attractive playground is important for a healthy school life. Children who are physically active during their breaks can better concentrate during the forthcoming lessons.
Kazi Play is a very interesting concept in the sense that from the word itself, Kazi means work, play means being playful. So it's about enabling children to engage in all motor skills. That's one aspect. And then the other aspect of it is also giving them good facilities, bathroom facilities.
My name is Nkulu Msutwana, the principal of Zimhlope Public Primary School. These facilities is very, very important for the kids because we're suffering for quite a long time. When we have the toilets here, our toilet was in tatters.
We've come up with solutions that are applicable to the end users, who are the students, but still applicable and manageable and serviceable or maintained by the school. But we made sure that the projects are not overburdening to the school in terms of a cost issue. So that's why we've used a lot of very robust materials. A lot of them are recycled and a lot of them are manageable and maintained by the school.
Toilets and playgrounds are important for the kids because whenever the kids get something to eat, they will also, it is necessary for them to lose the loo. And then for the slab, it would be important for them to play there instead of playing in the classroom, breaking other windows and desks.
The best change to see with the children is that they use the facilities, they are much more comfortable and they're happy, they're excited about being in school.
So this is a final example. This is the school which you saw. The school had nothing to offer for the kids. The architect in collaboration with us, I mean, we addressed the architect and they developed a plan. You have seen that in the video. This is one example. The Mdopa Primary School Playground Intervention. And this is now what was established in the last month. So these are the constructions which should improve the situation for physical activity on the schoolyard. We can see them and we will have the handover in a few weeks. This is the situation. The kids, when they come out of their classes, they jump on that. It's only a short impression, but you can't imagine how much fun they have and how they use them. So this is just a short impression of Kasi Play. I want to summarize that. This is all based on a 10-year collaboration. There is a report, 60 pages report, which you can also download from our homepage. And you see on the right side, there is research and implementation. On the research side, we have this shared UNESCO chair. We have funds only for this project for more than 2 million Swiss francs. We got it from the Novartis Foundation especially, but also from other foundations. We have 6 PhDs included. Meanwhile, 2 completed, 6 ongoing, or even 8. So 4 of them in South Africa. This is also new. We have more than 30 master theses, 32 peer-reviewed publications, and so on. We got several awards: Engagement Excellence Award, Merit Award in the category Health Education and Health Promotion at the Commonwealth Digital Health Awards, and also the Innovation Excellence Project Award from the Nelson Mandela University. That is to say, also other organizations appreciate the work, and this gives us motivation to carry on. But on the right side, you see the implementations. You have seen that, Kasi Kids, Kasi Health, and so on. And we presented that on different conferences and so on. So this Nelson Mandela has excellent quotes. One of them is, history will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday life of children. So this is guidance for our work. And so now my 20 minutes are over. Thank you for your attention. You see here, you can check ResearchGate and the homepage UNESCO chair, where you find all information which might be of interest for you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Professor Pühse, for this quite comprehensive presentation. There's a lot to take in, because on the one hand, you introduce some of the resources that are guiding the work you are doing, but on the other hand, it's very impressive what you have managed to implement with this Kasi Kids project and the other projects. So thank you very much. We already have a few questions in the Q&A section. I would just like to remind everyone that if you have any questions for this presentation, please include them in the Q&A section and we will address them. And maybe to start with, I have this question that's a little bit on the side, but from Shmuel Yerushalmi, who is asking, are you aware of if the COVID-19 pandemic has created any opportunity for developing healthy lifestyle in poor and developing countries or among low socioeconomic groups?
Yeah, it was a little bit interrupted. I did not understand everything. Could you repeat it, Gaëtan? Sorry.
Yes, not at all. So the question is, are you aware of if the COVID-19 pandemic has created any opportunity to promote healthy lifestyle, especially in low socioeconomic background populations or in developing countries?
Well, that is really a difficult question. The process is still ongoing. I mean, what we have seen, the schools shut down. There was really nothing which the kids could do. I could also show other examples where the kids say we can't play outside. It is unsafe there. So they had to stay at home. They use their mobile phones if they have one, in case they have one. So physical activity was reduced substantially. And it was not much paid attention to that. I mean, this is in many countries the case. Parents, but also politicians and so on, they especially look at the so-called important subjects and so on. And physical education is sometimes not regarded as so important. So it is our task to make clear what impact that has if kids are not active, for their health, for their well-being, for their development, for their academic performance. By the way, we have a group in Basel. They do, it's in my team, they call it PACO research, physical activity and cognition. And they do research on the impact of physical activity on cognitive processes, on learning, on the development, cognitive development of the child. And we see that it has an impact if this kid is not physically active. On the other hand, we can formulate that in a positive sense. Physical activity improves the health and well-being totally. We have to make this holistic view, and there is also the head of the child included. I always say to politicians, not only the head of the child goes to school, but the whole person. And the whole person is a body, and we have to care for this body because it's also linked to the academic performance, to the cognitive processes. So the question is, great, but it is difficult to answer. Maybe I have given a little bit insight in the situation right now, but it will be our task to advocate for physical education and physical activity in total, especially with politicians who are finally responsible for integrating physical education into schools. And I must mention in this, on this occasion that physical education is not a standalone subject in South Africa. It is included in a subject which is called life orientation. So we must bring back physical education back to the schools as a standalone subject and make clear what impact that has for the development and well-being of the children.
Thank you very much for your answer. And actually, we have another question that connects to the last part of what you just said, who's saying that in many underdeveloped and developing countries, physical education is reduced in the daily school program. What can we do? What can UNESCO do to drive the importance of physical education in schools to the governments or to the ministers of education?
Yeah, very nice. I mean, the question is good. There is still a lot to do, but we have strong partners. As I have shown, WHO is a strong partner. They provide us with a lot of evidence with regard to physical activity and health. But UNESCO is an enormous, important partner. They are preparing other documents which will be issued quite soon, which will really focus on that. I'm not allowed to speak about that in detail because it's up to UNESCO to deliver that, but that will be done in due time. UNESCO has a working group. This is called CJEPS. CJEPS is a working group which will meet next month in Paris, and who will deal exactly with this question and try to bring up projects, initiatives, political initiatives to increase the presence and the importance of physical education in schools. And there is another thing. There is, next year will be the MINEPS conference in Baku, Azerbaijan. And this is the meeting of the ministers worldwide responsible for physical education and sport in their countries. And there, again, the importance of our subject, of our intentions will be pushed forward. And I am very positively impressed what has been done in the last few years, for example, by UNESCO. And we have strong partners. And if we collaborate, as this workshop does it in a very exemplary way, experts from all the world are coming together in order to share their expertise and collaborate. And I must say it at this moment, we are open for collaboration and dissemination to other settings and countries and to share our findings and materials. And with this collaboration, I think we will improve the situation of physical education and physical activity for kids, especially also in neglected and underprivileged countries.
Thank you very much. We have one last question, which is indeed about also disseminating to other countries. So this is a double question from Pranav Shankar, who is asking, Are you going to expand this project that you've presented to different countries? And will there be given more attention to the higher age group of students?
Yeah, it's another good question. Of course, we want to disseminate that. We have to start small. First of all, we have to do something, establish a model, also with the schoolyards, with the playgrounds, as you have seen. We have established it in 2 schools in order to have a good model. And we will have the handover, we'll invite politicians, we'll invite people from the community, we'll invite people from the Department of Education and show, look, this is how it could look like. It is easy to implement, sustainable materials, and so on. So people can, and from there on, we want to disseminate it to others. But that is a lot of work. We are a small group, and we are happy if we find colleagues and collaborators who are interested in disseminating, because we don't want to limit it to a few schools in South Africa. For us, this is a model which could be used in many other countries. And as I said, we are prepared to share our findings and what we have developed.
Thank you very much, Professor Pühse, once more for your presentation and for addressing all these questions. I think now we are ready to move towards the roundtable with the case studies. And without further ado, I will introduce the first panelist who will introduce the first case study. So this will be Marisa Fernandez Esteban, the Deputy Head of the EU Sports Unit. Marisa Fernandez Esteban holds a degree of law from the Autonomous University of Madrid with Erasmus Award for her academic semester in the University of Amsterdam. She holds a PhD in European law from the European University Institute in Florence. She was a lecturer of European and constitutional law at the Autonomous University of Madrid before joining the European Commission, where she has dealt with accession negotiations, copyright, and audiovisual legislation. Between 2014 and 2015, she was the assistant to the Director General of DG EAC. She is the author of 3 academic books on European law. Marisa, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Gaëtan, and thank you very much for inviting me to this workshop. I'm very happy to be here with you today. And I don't have many minutes. I want to congratulate TAFISA for this change in the presidency. Congratulations. And just to say that TAFISA has been for a number of years a close partner of the European Commission. We have funded several projects undertaken by TAFISA. For example, we have funded the World Sport for All Games, so we are very proud of this. And certainly, as I will mention also, we are very happy that TAFISA presented the pledge Healthy Lifestyle for All at the EU Sport Forum in spring. So thank you very much. And without waiting, because I don't have much time, I will share with you my presentation. So let me share. I don't know if it is. Can you see that? Not yet. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I will present. Yes. So let me go from the beginning. So I will just quickly refer to, in this 12 minutes, 11 minutes maybe, Healthy Lifestyle for All campaign launched a year ago by the European Commission. It was launched on the occasion of the opening of the European Week of Sport. So what is this? It is really a communication campaign, a commitment, shows the commitment of the European Commission to promote a healthy lifestyle for all. It is a 2 years initiative. We are now at the equator of this initiative. We invite all organizations to join the European Commission and submit a pledge on the promotion of healthy lifestyle for all. So it is really a co-creation exercise with civil society, member states, international organizations, and so how it is, it has 3 pillars. We are really asking civil society and organizations and member states to choose one of them. Either we're promoting increased awareness of healthy lifestyle across all generations, or easier access to sport and physical activities with a special focus on inclusion and non-discrimination, or teaming up for a holistic approach to food, health, well-being, and sport. So we are very happy. So far, we can count on 74 pledges, 30 of them from member states of the European Union. The European Commission has shown also commitment to promote healthy lifestyle for all in several ways, and we have 10 commitments come from my institution, 33 pledges from the sport movement, 12 pledges from civil society organizations, and six from other organizations coming from either regions or in small sport clubs or hubs. And so this adds up to 74. We are very happy about this engagement. And certainly, of course, as Dionysios said, we are very happy to count on TAFISA pledge for a better world through sport for all. So TAFISA commits to focus on advancing policy making for healthy lifestyle, guided by their mission 2030 for a better world through sport for all. So really fits very well into the healthy lifestyle for all movement. We are very happy to count on TAFISA for this. We have other international organizations who have signed up for this and commit. We work closely with the World Health Organization. So they have introduced this pledge, national level multi-sectorial policy dialogues. So really they engage to support the development of national policies and strategy to promote healthy lifestyle for all. And for us, they have compiled fact sheets on physical activity levels in the EU member states. And this is really a wealth of data about the situation of physical activity in the member states. Unfortunately, it is not only in Europe, but it's all over the world. Physical inactivity is advancing. It is sad to see with the pandemic, the situation has become even worse. And actually in Europe, almost half of the population say they are totally inactive. So this is really what we consider a bomb, a time bomb for the future. We will have unprecedented results. We know that already half of the population in Europe is overweight. So this is really not very good situation. So we have also UEFA, but we also have other organizations like FIFA and certainly, as I said, many other small, tiny organizations and member states committing to promote healthy lifestyle for all. So how does it work? We have a pledge, and there's online a pledge board, sorry, and there's an online system and platform where organizations can introduce their pledges. So the organizations just need to share some information about the organization itself, choose the right pillar of the three that I mentioned at the beginning, upload the organization's logo, fill out the pledge, and introduce the pledge into the pledge board. This year in Europe has been declared the European Year of Youth. Why? Because it was felt by the European Commission and the European institutions that it was the moment to give young people a voice. Certainly, it is all over the world. The COVID-19 pandemic had an unprecedented impact on education, employment, and mental health of young people all over the world. And as we have some data coming from the young people themselves, the young people see mental and physical health and well-being as one of the focus areas of the European Year of Youth. This is, we do this collection of statistic data, and it was the Flash Eurobarometer on Youth and Democracy of May 2022. So for the linking the Healthy Lifestyle for All with the European Year of Youth, we have created the Healthy Lifestyle for All Youth Labs. So we have invited a mix of 30 young people to work on innovative proposals advocating for greater awareness of healthy lifestyle for all. And they are keep on working on this, and the proposals will be presented at the opening of the 2022 European Week of Sport in Prague on the 23rd of September. So how does it work? First, the 30 young people were invited to choose their teams, elected teams representatives. So in April and June, the teams were formed and they got to know each other. Then in June, over the summer, they were asked to identify innovative ideas and solutions. This was also at the EU Sport Forum in Lille, was an occasion where they met physically. Then between June and now ongoing September, they have to develop and finalize the proposals. And finally, there will be a beauty contest of the proposals, and the winning proposals will will be presented on the occasion of the European Week of Sport, as I said, on the opening on the 23rd of September in Prague. So, well, this is in a nutshell the healthy lifestyle for all that we have launched. I thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa, for a great presentation, and to the EU as well for spearheading this initiative, which is really a great way to bring everyone around the table and work together toward the same goals. So for the questions and answer, we will open the floor after all of the panelists of this roundtable have spoken. So this will be after the next three panelists. So for now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our next panelist. So our next panelist will be Mansoor AlSughayer from the Saudi Sports for All Federation. Mansoor AlSughayer is currently the Director of Community Programs in the Saudi Sports for All Federation and leads on all community and programs related to increasing physical activity in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Under his capacity as Director of Community Programs, he has led several programs and events, including the Life Enhancement Conference, the Riyadh Marathon, Sand Clash, and Activating Public Places. Mansoor, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Firstly, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you all, and I'll be presenting to you Saudi Sports for All, and specifically our programs in relation to healthy living and healthy lifestyle. In general, I'll give you a general overview of who Sports for All is, how we reach our vision, and lastly, I will do a deep dive into the programs that we have specifically done in relation to the healthy lifestyle. Saudi Sports for All Federation is in charge of community mass participation here in KSA. Our vision is to create a healthier and happier society through activity. Our mission is to build a healthy community by inspiring individuals to be active through inclusive recreational and sustainable programs. Through these programs, we aim to build sustainable habits for them. Our values that help us deliver these programs include determination, through providing the right environment and support for community groups and the sports that they participate in, and inspiration by involving these community sports groups and the community in general in decision making, and also making these programs relevant to each segment of the society. All our programs are diverse. Diversity is important for us, so we ensure inclusiveness in all our programs, and we target the mass to ensure availability for opportunity for all segments of society. And lastly, empowerment as well. We aim to transform physical activity into a norm here in Saudi Arabia and in our communities, and support the development of sustainable healthy habits through programs that are sustainable. Our offerings complement the work done by federations, but our specific aim is physical activities practiced in a non-professional setting and recreational basis for health benefits. We achieve, and our main objective is to increase physical activities in the kingdom and to reach 40% by 2030. We do that by improving the attitude and behavior towards physical activity through designing impactful campaigns, regulating the delivery of community sports in the kingdom, and focusing on program design and supporting delivery partners. So each of our programs is specifically designed based on the segment. We do survey and ask people what exactly their needs are, what are their barriers to participate into physical activities. And then we create these specific programs for them based on their needs. We also would love to be the Insight Center for Sports and Physical Activity. So we ensure that we capture all the data after each event to build on that and expand these programs to have even bigger reach for next editions. We ensure sustainability through interventions that allow for more playing opportunities. So if you think of a marathon, we don't think of it as a one-day race. We make sure that we have interventions, and by interventions, we do create training programs so that people can actually participate and practice running throughout the year. We also make sure that we empower community sports groups to run these programs by creating these running groups so that they are actually participating in running throughout the year instead of just it being a one-hit wonder or just an event. Also, an influencing policy and creating global partnerships. So the objective of Vision 2030 is to have a vibrant society, and that our objective transport the Saudi Sports for All movement into a key contributor to that vision. When it comes to vibrant society, we do it through increasing the levels of activity, awareness about the health, the benefits of sports and activities, empowering the society to follow good, healthy habits. When it comes to thriving economy, we do it through increasing private sector contribution and consumer spending. We increase jobs created in sports. And lastly, an ambitious nation. So now we'll talk about each segment specifically throughout their life cycle and how we do these interventions. How can we even encourage them to partake into physical activity? So there are compound benefits in increasing physical activities in youth and the quality of their lives in active children. It's proven through research that active youth are 10 times likely to be less obese if they through consistently smaller gains in their BMI. Physically active young adults are 7% more likely to be employed and earn 7 to 8% more throughout their lives. Being physically active might increase life expectancy by 5 years. Active employees gain up to 5 additional days of productive time each year. And that's important for them during that life phase when they are working so hard on their careers. And also it's going to show them that this can lead them to the attainment of key life skills and also increases chance of future success. And when it comes to older adults, we focus on showing them that physical activity can reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases. We show them how this can help them with including them into the society so that they do not feel like they are isolated. And then I'll take you through how we do achieve all this vision in our programs. We have 4 different segments and we tailor each of our programs based on the needs of that segment. The first one is being youth under 18, young adults 18 to 25, adults 26 to 50, and older adults. The frameworks includes programs activating public places, activating people, policy change, comms and campaigns, digital and research, governance, funding, and partnerships, both local and global. And our strategy includes all segments of society here in Saudi Arabia. We make sure that we are applying programs and all our programs are in all regions of Saudi Arabia. Gender, so we make sure that we're focusing on providing equal opportunity for females as well. Race and ethnicity, we do provide also programs for expats to enhance the life of expats here in Saudi Arabia. Designing inclusive programs for people with disability. And lastly, providing affordable programs for all socioeconomic levels. So I'll deep dive into the programs that we have been working on in relations to healthy lifestyle. The first one would be the Lifestyle Enhancement Conference. It's a one-day conference that hosted more than 15 speakers and 1,000 attendees. We made sure that we talk about 4 pillars to create a holistic ecosystem for people when they are, let's say, improving their healthy lifestyle habits. The first one would be physical activity, injury prevention, nutrition, and mental well-being. So they spoke over those 4 subjects, and we made sure that each participant had a health passport, so that we make sure that they are actually carrying out these healthy habits throughout the year. So the passport included their goals, aspirations, that they can journal on this passport, so that they work on it until the next year when we host this workshop again, where they can revisit and see how they've grown throughout that year. The future plan for this program is to increase the awareness and build attendance even more. We made sure that it's live streamed, so people had access regardless if they were physically there or not. It was free of charge, so it was affordable for all segments of society. It was both English and translated into Arabic as well. So we made sure that also expats can be part of this program. And lastly, we are planning on hosting the 2nd edition of that to grow it even more further in 2023. Corporate health and wellness, one of the areas that we identified that older adults need help in was in corporates, because when we did our surveys, we realized that they did not have enough time. So we made sure that we partner with corporates for them to activate their employees either during business hours or afterwards through digital challenges. So we created this program which aims to activate corporates around the kingdom and engage them through our digital app. The program includes customized schedules and also pre-built challenges where the admin of each corporate can customize it based on the needs of their employees. They can also include some incentives for them to make sure that they are actually achieving their daily goals. And the plan is to include community-driven events focused on corporates through designing leagues. So far, we have 12 corporates participating with us, and the aim is to spread this out throughout the nation. Lastly is our Healthy Living program. We started this during COVID and give people some resources and tips to help them stay active during that time. We realized that people enjoyed having a readily available source for them. So we maintained that, and so far since March 2020, we had 89 articles that have been published, and the topics range from running, hiking, nutrition, meditation, workouts, and anything related to healthy living. I can share the resources and the links for each of these programs if you need any further information on them. I believe that my time is up. So I thank you all for this opportunity again, and I look forward to the questions.
Many thanks, Mansoor, for guiding us through your very holistic and comprehensive strategy to reach and achieve your Vision 2030. I think it's quite interesting to see how you really try to connect the dots between the different sectors, the different aspects, all the different things that need to be taken into consideration. So I'm sure that there will be very interesting questions coming up to know more about how you're achieving this in Saudi Arabia. Now I would like to introduce our next speaker. This is Claudia Campos from Brazil, from SESC Sao Paulo. So Claudia is the coordinator of SESC Summer, Challenge Day and Move Week campaigns at SESC Sao Paulo's Sports Management. She graduated in physical education from the University of Sao Paulo with specialization in administration, business management in services, sports administration and positive coaching, and training in project management, human focus at University of Laverne. Claudia, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Gaëtan. And on behalf of Danilo Miranda, Director of SESC São Paulo, we thank you for this opportunity, this invitation to share our experience with these campaigns. And we have a little time to explain. We managed 3 huge campaigns, so I will try to give you some information how we'll deal with this campaign during a year. So I will share my screen with you. It's possible to see?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Before I start to talk about health campaigns, I think it's important to explain what is SESC, because I don't know if everybody know about us. SESC is a no-profit company that was created in 1946. Is social service of commerce, and SESC promotes in all Brazilian country wellness and quality of life through programs related to sports, health, education, culture, and our work is focused on social transformation. We have a national reach. We are present in all 26 states from Brazil. And in São Paulo, where I am from, where I will share our experience, we have 43 facilities. And in Brazil, we have more than 500 facilities. So how SESC São Paulo develops sports and physical activities for all? So we focus our work initiatives that raise awareness of the importance of physical activity to improve well-being for all audience of our age. We try to expand a lot of experience related to physical activity. We motivate education to autonomous practice, and we believe that values as autonomy, integration, respect for diversity, and social inclusion needed to be considered in all sports and activities we promote. How do you do this? We have the programs in sports and physical activities, and we work in two fronts. Inside the facilities, we offer programs of gymnastics, sports, aquatics, body mind, and we offer complementary activities too, like free classes, meetups with athletes, sports presentations, and more recently, a course in sport management. And the other front we work is with the campaigns that happens inside the facilities, outside the facilities, and the campaigns has the power and the aim to strengthen our partnerships with cities, institutions, and leaderships. And the main value relating our campaigns that we believe is that you need to keep in campaign all the time. So I will share with you our experience with those campaigns that we manage during a year, every year for many years. And I'm gonna talk about SESC Summer, Challenge Day, and Movie Week. So SESC Summer is a program, an event that was created by SESC in 1996. And it happens during January and February for 40 days. And during this period, we try to offer in our facilities a diversity of physical and sports practices, because it is an important moment to focus on attracting new audiences to be more active. During SESC Verão, SESC Verão in Brazil, SESC Summer, we have more around 1,500 activities, and we can reach around 900,000 people. And during the pandemic, we could realize two editions with limitations, of course, with activities on virtual environment, but you could run with the campaign. Another campaign that we are having doing for the last 27 years is the Challenge Day, is our partnership with TAFISA, and we coordinate this campaign since 1995 in American continent. I don't know if everybody knows about Challenge Day. It happens always the last Wednesday of May. And the Challenge Day offer a diversity of physical and sports practices. And the most important thing of Challenge Day is that it's possible to establish a partnership with countries, cities, and institutions. And so these stakeholders help us to deliver the message of Challenge Day. And in this day, people are invited to do any physical activity. And it's a day that we call attention for the importance of being active and to have a community very active. We have reached during these last years during Challenge Day 20 countries in American continent, and during the pandemic we did 3 editions virtually, and it was a big challenge, a huge challenge, but it was possible to do. The next campaign we have is Movie Week. Movie Week is a more recent campaign that we are managing. Is since 2013, and we have a partnership with SESC, and we coordinate this campaign in American continent too. It happens in September, in third week of September, and during 10 days, stakeholders and people are invited to stimulate their communities to practice some physical activities. During this time, the last 9 years, we reached 13 countries in American continent, and we did 2 editions during the pandemic too, using all the resources that the virtual environment could offer for us. So what impacts we create when running a campaign? So first of all, we raise awareness about the importance of sport and physical activity for everyone. When we stimulate access to different sports and physical activity, we activate the development of network initiatives, broadening and strengthening partnerships, stimulating the exchange of experience and good practices. And the most important thing, we try to engage leaders to look at their community, to understand their needs, and promote actions to motivate people to be more active, using the tools they have in their community. Even starting with simple actions as promoting a walking, as promoting a dance class. But it's very important to look to your community and understand and to be aware then how important is to have people active for health and well-being. So we built during the last 27 years a powerful network in American continent, and those are the countries we have contact. In Brazil, we reached all the states, as I mentioned before, 26 states. We have more than 150 institutions that are with us, and more than 2,000 cities engaged in all campaigns that we realize. So how it was possible to be the partners play a fundamental role in the promotion of the actions. And keeping campaign means to be in contact with the partner, not only on the campaign, but mainly in between, in an engagement process. So we have 3 moments during the year during the campaign: call attention for the cause of active way of life. But during the campaigns, we try to be in contact with the partners, to share experience, to understand their needs, and together try to help each other to improve what they are doing in their communities. So to organize this campaign at SESC São Paulo, we follow some steps, and I will summarize here. First of all, we define a team in SESC São Paulo that will manage the campaign, and we create an executive officer. Then we work on create a concept for each campaign and organize preparatory meetings with coordinators for conceptual alignment. It's important to highlight here that this concept is always based what we listen, what we receive from feedbacks from these partners, these coordinators, people who run the campaigns in their community. So it's important to listen what they are thinking, what they need, what they want, and try to together with partners give solutions for this. After this, we prepare communication actions, and this communication is a package with videos, with templates, with visual identity, websites, because it's important to have tools, to give these tools in order to help our partners to share the idea of each campaign. And we work on feedbacks and evaluation with meetings with all coordinators. So about the coordinators, because this work is only possible because at the facilities and outside the facilities, we have coordinators. We have people who are responsible to run the campaigns in their place, in their community, in their city, in their town. So the coordinators are the very important person in this process, because they connect us with all the communities, and they share our ideas of each campaign. They motivating to create a strategy to engage their community in sports practice, and they organize meetings and keeping campaign between the events. So it's very important the role of the coordinators. So we have here in Brazil, inside the facilities, coordinators, and in Latin America, in a lot of countries, as I mentioned before, and they are representatives from sports ministries, sports secretariats, universities, entities, and organizations. So this was a brief presentation for our experience, and I will be happy to share more information about our experience. Here we have the websites from Challenge Day and Movie Week, and I will let the set if you want to know a little bit more. Thanks so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Claudia, for introducing the fantastic work that SESC is doing. And it's interesting to see how you are connecting with the work with local communities, but at the same time connecting with international initiatives in Latin America and broader as well. And indeed, TAFISA, we are proud that we have been partnering with SESC for a long time, especially with the World Challenge Day, but other initiatives as well. So thank you very much. Our last panelist for today, unfortunately, Mr. Stanley Mutoya, the CEO of the African Union Sports Council Region 5, cannot be with us today. This is a last-minute change, but worry not, as he will be replaced. And this will be Sombwa Musunsa, who will do the presentation on the Morning Doctor initiative instead. Please, Sombwa, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Gaëtan Garcia, if you allow me to call you. And like you have mentioned, allow me to appreciate the opportunity to be able to present, even in brief, and also on behalf of our CEO, Mr. Stanley Mutoya, who is unable to be with us, on the Morning Doctor, and also related programs that we are running here at African Union Sports Council Region 5. Allow me also to recognize the rest of the panelists that have joined this workshop, but also others that are joining this workshop on different platforms. This is a great opportunity for us to really talk about the Morning Doctor and other related programs that we run here at Region 5. Unfortunately, I wish to state, even as I said, that we had a few challenges, and like you stated, last-minute changes in terms of the presentation. And I will ask if I can be able to present about the Morning Doctor without the PowerPoint presentation, but also assure you that we'll be able to share the presentation beyond this platform, so that it can be shared with other stakeholders, and so that they can appreciate the different programs that we are running, especially in terms of the Morning Doctor and related programs. Allow me for now to just start by saying, my name is Sombwa Musunsa. I am the programs manager here at Region 5. Like I said, I'm standing in for our CEO, Mr. Stanley Mutoya. And I just would like to give a brief background in terms of what the region is all about, not going into details, of course, but I would like to state that we are one of the 5 African Union Sports Council regions, which consists of 10 Southern African countries. And these countries include Angola, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. We like referring to ourselves as the most advanced region in terms of sport development, and also within the mandate of the African Union Sports Council, which mandate us to implement programs, sport programs and sport for all programs on behalf of the citizens of this vast continent. Our mandate is indeed to provide sport development opportunities to members and citizens of this region. And within our strategic plan and our constitution, we provide a number of different programs, and these include capacity development programs. And a good example of such a program is the TAFISA Certified Leadership course, which we've been running in collaboration with TAFISA. And just today, just for your information, we were conducting a graduation of the second cohort. We just concluded it just before this particular workshop, and we had 7 successful candidates that have graduated and are ready to implement sport for all programs across the region and beyond. We also conduct high performance programs, and one of our flagship programs under this particular thematic area or priority area is the Podium Performance Program that provides opportunities or high performance opportunities to athletes across the region. We also implement to a large degree women in sport programs. And an announcement that I would like to give is that under this particular priority area, we are preparing for a regional women in sport program or conference that will be held in Johannesburg in October. Other than these programs that I've mentioned, we also provide opportunities for people with disabilities by providing them with opportunity to participate freely and actively in sport. And other programs that we run include the Region 5 games. These are biannual events or games that we conduct from one country to the other in alphabetical order within the 10 member countries that I mentioned. And the next games that will be held this year will be in Malawi, and beyond Malawi in December, we will have the Region 5 Youth Games to be held in Mozambique in 2024. And even as you go to these, or you participate or you witness such programs that I've mentioned, you find a huge component of sport for all thematic areas or concepts that are embedded within the programs that I've mentioned. But even as we implement such programs, we have challenges that we face. And one of the devastating challenges that we faced, and this is a devastating challenge that the whole world experienced, was the COVID-19 pandemic that really ravaged a lot of countries. And unfortunately, we lost a lot of lives. And one of the consequences of COVID-19 was the disruption in terms of different economic and social activities across the globe. And one of those key activity or aspect of everyday life was sport and physical activity that was disrupted. A lot of countries imposed a lot of restrictions in terms of movements, mobility, in terms of participating in different activities, including sport and physical activity. Schools were shut down, sports facilities were shut down, and we found ourselves in a situation that we could not actively participate in sport. So what did we do as a region? Even emulating other organizations such as TAFISA, we came up with different interventions so that we could keep our members within the region, members who form part of the over 170 million citizens of this vast region. We provide them with opportunities to participate in sport and physical activity right in the comfort of their homes. So what we did was we launched an ambitious weekly 30-minute online morning doctor program in 2020. And this was at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, like I said, which ravaged the globe and indeed the Southern African region. So the morning doctor was an intervention to deal with the devastating impact of COVID-19 pandemic, which obviously paralyzed a lot of sport programs across the region. And this program was hosted every Wednesday at 10 and would end at 10:30. And you'll be amazed to know that in this part of the world, of course, when it comes to internet accessibility, it is very low. But we could, at a given time, or every time that we present the program, would have about 500 viewers reaching the program itself, or would have a reach of about 500 people at the go. So what we did was that even as we are preparing to launch the program, we engaged a doctor from South Africa, who was the main facilitator of the program. Her name was, one name is Fatukile Zondi. I know the name may be a bit difficult for some of you, but her name was Fatukile Zondi, a sports and exercise medicine physician who is experienced in clinical sports medicine, general management, and as well as leadership. So Dr. Zondi serves as the chair of the Medical Advisory Commission or the South African Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee. In short, we call it SASCOC, as well as on the board of the directors of the South African Institute for Drug-Free Sports. She is also the past president of the South African Sports Medicine Association, which is an NGO, and currently serves as the CEO of the Sports Science Institute of South Africa. So the design of the program was such in a way that the doctor would be working with a team of other doctors from Angola, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, who formed part of this formidable team of experts to guide sportsmen and sportswomen. So we had Dr. Jao Mulima from Angola, the first FIFA doctor, physician, and chairman of the National Sports Medicine Center in Angola, and also heads the Rwanda Provincial Association of Athletics, and also was part of the doctors to run this particular project, like I mentioned. He was joined by Dr. George Magwende from Zambia, and also joined by Dr. Nicholas Munyonga from Zimbabwe as part of this particular project team. So like I said, the project was designed in response to COVID-19, but also in response to the disruptions in terms of sport. And you and I, colleagues, know that the disruptions that came with COVID-19 affected the mental capabilities of some of the athletes, the psychological preparedness of some of the athletes, especially that we have these athletes that are used to participate actively in sport, and all of a sudden we have this disease that came up, and they were forced to be quarantined in their homes or to be restricted in terms of participating freely in sport. These had devastating consequences on the health of the athletes. So what we did was that this program will be able to help these athletes even continue to participate in physical activity to some extent, even in the comfort of their homes. But also what we did with this program was that as the doctors were presenting, or the doctor was presenting the different topics, these were helping this athlete in terms of reducing the effects or the burden of COVID-19 on their daily routine in terms of participating in sport. So we found that we had a number of beneficial outcomes as a result of the implementation of the program. So what we did, even as we continue to see the cases reduce across the globe and also across the region, was that we needed to strategize. So we converted the morning doctor into what we now call the game changer. And this is also presented at 10 hours Botswana time every Wednesday. We have engaged a well-experienced presenter who is a journalist to interview a number of champions of sport development across the region, so that we can be able to understand the stories that they will share regarding the implementation of sport activities across the region, even after the aftermath of the devastating consequences or impact of COVID-19. So we have continued the program, but changed it or transformed it into a platform whereby we can be able to interview survivors of COVID-19 and the stories that they can be able to tell us in terms of how they survived COVID, how they implemented sports programs when we had full restrictions across the region, and how they have continued to adapt to the challenges that have been brought about by COVID, but most importantly, how we are able to implement sport programs even beyond COVID-19. Having said that, dear colleagues, the morning doctor, as well as the game changer, which we now present, have added to the profile of the region, but also contributed to the health of the citizens, but also those that are actively involved in sport. And even those that are not actively involved in sport, they have been able to follow the program and have learned one or two things related to the importance of participating in physical activity and sport. And over the long term, our anticipation is, or expectation is, that we'll be able to see a region that has got citizens that are healthy as a result of participating in sport. I would like to end here now with this brief information that I've shared with you, and hoping that whatever I've shared is of benefit to the people that are participating in this program, but also those that are following on different platforms. Thank you so much, and please enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much for stepping in and presenting this quite innovative idea you have with the Morning Doctor program, and then reconverting it into something that remains relevant as the worldwide situation changes. I think it's a very interesting initiative to indeed show how there are different ways that we can promote healthy lifestyles. So now I would like to move on to the questions and answers. For those of you who have not done so yet and who have questions for the speakers, please ask them in the questions and answers section, and we will address them. And maybe to start with, I have a first question for Mansoor from the Saudi Sports World Federation. among all of your great programs, which one would you say had the greatest success of impact on society? And what elements of that program do you attribute the success to?
Thank you for the question. I would have to say our neighborhood clubs. So the Saudi Sports Federation, with collaboration with the Ministry of Education, we asked them to take schools for after hours and turn them into neighborhood clubs, where we develop multi-sports programming. It includes physical activity, educational, recreational activities for all ages, segments of society. And it allows people to have access to these all, well, let's say, subjects related to healthy living within their neighborhoods. So it's easy access for all. And also it's with very minimal entrance fee. So also for social side of things, it's also very impactful. I would say neighborhood clubs would be the #1 for me now, even in terms of numbers and participation within these clubs.
Thank you, Mansoor, for this nice comprehensive answer. We have some questions for Claudia from SESC. Where the question is saying, SESC has done very well for Brazil, but can I ask you if you are financially assisted by the government, and in terms of percentage, if this is a question you can answer, how much do you get from the government and how much do you manage to secure from private partners?
Okay, SESC is a private company that and it's maintained for businessmen from commerce and service. So SESC works with your own resource. These resources are distributed for all the facilities we have in Brazil. And each facility has a budget that are used to provide activities in all programs we have. And so we don't have government financing.
Thank you for clarifying this and for sharing a bit about the model of SESC. I have a question maybe for Marisa. When you were introducing the Healthy Lifestyle for All initiative, and you also introduced the Youth Ideas Lab, I think one of the points that comes up quite often is that we really need to affect and to influence the youth to really build these healthy habits from the youngest age. But how do you manage with the Youth Ideas Lab to really include them not only as the recipients of program, but also as the ones leading it and partnering, because maybe they know better what they need? And what are the lessons that you can already draw from this Youth Ideas Lab?
Thank you, Gaëtan. So just to say that it is the first time we launch a Youth Ideas Lab in the field of sport. So it was the first time for us in this field. We have, of course, youth policy. In the field of youth policy, they are more aware and they are more they have more experience, but it's been a huge success. So the mere fact of having this co-creation with young people is very, very refreshing. I can tell you, they had a session of a physical session in Brussels on Monday, and I attended it, and it was really great to see all these bright young people coming for ideas and co-creating the Healthy Lifestyle for All initiative. So since they are in the making, I can only tell you my impression from this that has been so far the Healthy Lifestyle for All. So for me, I can only encourage this kind of co-creation activity with young people, but I would I would say that it is at the bone of the heart of the Healthy Lifestyle for All. It is this co-creation activity, and it has really been really an incredible expansion of this initiative from where it was before the time to call for Healthy Lifestyle for All, which was only member states. Now it is really across society, open to all society, and in particular with the youth labs with young people. So it is a process that has to be well taken care of. There will be the ideas that they are working on, the young people. They will be pitched in any special events back to the opening of the European Week of Sport in Prague. So I hope we can really see the brilliant ideas that they are developing. Yeah? So I will have more to share with you once they offer the pitch their ideas on the 23rd of September. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this. Now we have a question from Karin Sumitio for all of the panelists. So you choose who wants to go first. So the question is, what is the most challenging part of your programs or your projects in increasing women's participation in sport? And what are the proven ways you have found to really address this challenge from your experience? So who wants to go first?
Maybe I can continue and say something about women's sports, because you may know that for the European Commission, there is a strategy on equality, which is very top on the agenda. And of course, for us, it has to also become one of our priorities, gender equality in sports. So certainly it is one priority underpinning all others. So for all our activities, it's certainly one of our goals to promote gender equality in sport. Not only through all our activities, conferences, and programs, we strive to have really gender balance in everything we do. But also there is a specific priority in Erasmus and also in EU sport policy. And Commissioner Gabriel launched a group of high-level group on gender equality in sport. It was launched last year, and they worked for a year, and they produced recommendations. Recommendations on how to further promote gender equality in sport. In practice, but also in organizations. And we are currently implementing these suggestions, these recommendations that were addressed to the European Commission. For example, we launched the Be Equal Prize. It is now open for submission. That is a direct implementation of these recommendations. And we look forward to, of course, civil society and member states to implement these recommendations. Another one, there will be a conference of gender equality in sport that we will organize possibly in the second part of 2023, next year, under the Spanish presidency of the Council. So that's what I can add.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else from our panelists want to answer this question or share about how they are working to promote more women to participate in sport for and physical activity? Claudia, yes?
Yes, I'd like to share our experience because at SESC in our facilities is available to work and offer a lot of activities that include women in sports. We have we promote, discuss about it. We promote events, activities that we have more women practicing sports. So it's something that appears in our programmation every day. Is something that we are very concerned with. During the campaign, we challenge because we deal with a lot of different stakeholders, and I don't know if everyone is concerned about this importance. So by the conceptual alignment we have during a campaign, we always talk about this importance, to include women, to think about how women must be included in sports action.
Thank you very much for sharing on this. Maybe I have a question for Sombwa, because you were talking about how you indeed took this initiative of finding a way to keep people at home despite the COVID pandemic with the morning doctor. Then you evolved it into these game changers. Could you share a little bit on some of the learnings or the feedback you have received from people benefiting from this initiative, and something you might share that would be a recommendation or suggestion to find effective ways to promote people staying active? Your microphone is muted right now.
Thank you so much. The question is really a good one in terms of provoking the testimonies that we have gotten from different beneficiaries of our program. And in terms of the morning doctor, you will find that at the height of COVID-19, we had a number of people that were tuning in, so to say, in terms of the program. And you will get testimonies from different people in terms of the benefits that they are able to participate actively in sport, but also getting to be helped in terms of their mental capabilities, and also just trying to stay focused. And in relating your question to the previous one that was asked, we had a good number of women attending, despite the fact that a number of women during COVID, a number of women and girls were hugely affected compared to the men. And even one of the challenges that we faced was that, and we continue facing across the region, is that we have got a low number of women accessing internet, but also having these devices such as phones and computers, so that they can be able to tune in and follow the proceedings of the morning doctor. But what we have gathered, even in terms of feedback from most of the participants, is that the program itself has been beneficial and has had lasting impact on most of the participants. And coming to the game changer, we continue to now having a face-to-face interaction, or having this interface with key people that are actually implementing sport programs at community level. This enables us in a way to have this platform that provides us with an opportunity to have first-hand feedback from people that are actually implementing programs at grassroots level for Sport for All programs, and having to learn how they are implementing these programs despite the number of challenges that they are experiencing. And the lessons that we learn from the people that we interview, can be passed on to others that are facing similar challenges, and in a way learn how they can be able to adapt to the current situation and successfully implement different programs, especially for women and children that were adversely affected by COVID-19.
Thank you. That's a very clear and comprehensive answer. And I think that's some interesting lessons to be drawn here for all of us. I would have maybe a question for Mansoor, because you were mentioning and giving some examples on how you can connect the big events like the marathon in Riyadh with interventions that are more for everyone, minded for Sport for All. Can you please develop a little bit on how you manage really to connect these big sports events that we often see mostly as elite sports events, and how you really manage to shift the focus to make them for everyone?
Yeah, definitely. So I would believe that the core of Sports for All Federation here in Saudi is our community sport groups. How can we support these groups to be the delivery arm for us as a federation? So we make sure to involve them in all our programs. That way, we make sure that they are leading and paving the way for these interventions without having to inject maybe too much money and not needing big budgets and stuff like that. So developing that would help with the small interventions. And when thinking of bigger events, we always think of what are they doing in the other 12 months. So let's take the conference, for example. Instead of it being just a conference, we created and gave all the participants a health passport where they can journal throughout the year. If it comes to, let's say, smaller events, we make sure that there are smaller events leading up to the bigger event. So all these help with making sure that it's a sustainable habit and a sustainable program rather than just one big event.
Thank you. That's a very interesting, comprehensive framework and strategy you have here. And I think it's quite interesting to see how we can rethink about big sports events into something that can really benefit everyone. Maybe there is time for one last question that will be for Claudia, if you will. you're really introducing how you have this model where for each of your projects, you identify your team, and then you have a way to strategize and to implement it. Could you maybe introduce further how you connect at the local level with the communities? We are saying that you always try to work together with the communities to understand their needs, and how you also identify volunteers to help you run this program, because I understand Brazil is a huge country and with a lot of people, and I'm sure that must be a lot of work to implement all these projects across the country.
It's a hard work, I can say. But this work starts in our facilities. As we have 500 facilities in Brazil, we don't have facilities in all cities in Brazil. So as each facility has create a contact with their region, with the cities around the facility, and this is the start of our work. Each coordinator in each facility started to talk with leaders and of these cities, and try to share the message of each campaign, and with meetings showing the importance of this leader try to look to their community and try to identify which this leader can do, which the resources he have, and is not an easy work. We don't have people who stay with us at the first time. It's a hard work that we do each campaign, during the campaign, trying to show to these leaders how important and how they can use what they have to make the life of the community better than they are. So that's the way we reach so many cities, and when you have people that are concerned, that are engaged with the campaign, with the values we have with this campaign, it's easier than to motivate them to connect with another leaders and share experience, because sometimes a leader from a city have the same problem as the other, with budget, with their community, and we have this role to put these people together, to talk and try to find solutions to their region. We used to work to make meetings in. We use this term micro region. We reunite all the cities from a region and put them together and talk to them. And SESC, the facility, each facility has this whole, because we don't have budget to help everyone. But what we can do is to provide information, formation, provide meetings, provide a course that will help these leaders to improve their knowledge in order to help their community. So is this way we work. But we have the happiness to find a lot of leaders that are very concerned about their communities, and they want help. So when we have a contact with this kind of leaders, is a very good match, because they want to make something. We can provide some tools, and we work together. So it is the way we can connect so many cities in Brazil, and another countries too.
Thank you so much. And I think this is the time now for concluding this workshop, but I would like to once again thank you so much to all of the speakers who contributed today. I think you have shared a great wealth of information, and thank you to the audience as well for interacting, for asking questions, for sharing your thoughts as well in the chat. I hope this workshop has been very enlightening to you. I would like to just tell everyone that the entire workshop has been recorded, and afterwards next week you will receive an email with the video that will be published, so you will be able to access all of the workshop with the presentations and to share it within your networks. And also this afternoon we will share with you a short survey that takes barely 1 or 2 minutes to complete, which helps us make sure that the workshops are still on point and relevant. Before we conclude, I would like to share with you all TAFISA initiative that is taking place in October. So I'm putting the link in the chat. This is the TAFISA World Walking Day, 24 hours around the globe. And this event is really about trying to promote physical activity, but also connecting the world. So the way it works is that everywhere in the world at 10 a.m. local time, people will be able to be physically active and pass the baton, and in this way we will have this sort of relay that goes across the world. So this is the third year that this is running now. Last year we managed to get 86 countries running, and hopefully this year we can reach over 100. So please take part, join us. It's very easy, it's free, and you can also share with all of your friends, your colleagues, and your family. And to conclude, I would like to give the word to the TAFISA Vice President, Denise Karakasis, who will share some goodbye words with everyone.
I would like to thank everyone for participating, but I would also like to state that we should look after COVID-19 psychological and sociological problems that aroused during the past 2 years. This is something that we have to address in most countries in the following years, because we, at least here in Greece, we saw an increase in bullying, interfamily violence. These are new issues that we have to address, and sport is, and sport for all, is one way to address these new community problems. So thank you all for attending, and I would like to thank all the panelists for their time, and all of them staying all this time listening and answering questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and please stay in touch, and we'll see you for the next TAFISA Mission 2030 workshop. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.